very clear to me now, as I've gone deeper and deeper, and I'm still going deeper and deeper all the time into this nature of reality, that what we call mind, where we talk about his mind, her mind, their mind, I don't see it like that at all. I think we're talking about the mind. Within this virtual reality, where we're decoding vibrational information into electrical signals, into holographic, apparently physical things that actually only exist in that form in your head. When you look at the mind is part of that construct, and it's the way that consciousness connects. It's the conduit mind, the conduit that allows consciousness to lock in and experience this reality, and mind works through the body computer. But mind, because it's part of this illusory construct, and the way the construct is programmed, it sees everything as apart from everything else. It sees everything in terms of limitation, and I can't, and all the rest of it. And if we stay in mind, and you can be in mind while thinking you're spiritual. I mean, all these religions, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, they're all, apart from the rare people, they're all mind constructs. The New Age is a mind construct that thinks it's spiritual. And you know when you're in mind, because mind is obsessed with hierarchical structures. It's obsessed with structure itself. It's obsessed with rules, regulations, and laws all over the place. And it's obsessed with a sense of limitation. So if you are seeing the world in any of those forms, then you're in mind. And that's, we're all in mind to an extent, because that's the conduit that allows consciousness to experience this virtual reality. The question is, are you totally controlled by mind in terms of your perception, or is mind the servant of consciousness, or is it taken over so consciousness can no longer have a major impact on your perception processes? And if we can break away from mind perception being the dominating force, then what's left is consciousness. It's not even about becoming conscious. It's about removing that which has disconnected us from an awareness of our consciousness. And once you start to become conscious, consciousness knows the best contribution that you can make. And you see it. You see it clearly once you become conscious. But mind is part of this construct, and therefore it's trying to defend the construct. So it will constantly give you a list of things to tell you why you're powerless, why there's nothing you can do, why there's no point, because these people are all too powerful and all the rest of it, because it wants you to do nothing. And one of the things I say in my talks is, if we want to become conscious, therefore, if you like, symbolically get to the top of the mountain and look down on it instead of being caught in it, wondering bewilderedly where we are and what we are, then we need to come from a perspective of consciousness. And one of the things I say is, if you're faced with a situation at any time during the day, as our life experience passes by, we need to ask ourselves, what would consciousness do? Now, consciousness is all possibility. It's all that is, has been, ever will be, and it's a very hard thing for the mind to understand, because it's all about division and limitation. But consciousness is the infinite, it's the eternal, it's that which leaves the body in a near-death experience, etc., or at least can be. And if we come from its perspective, which is love, fairness, justice, doing what is right, then we start, by definition, because we've taken that point of observation, we connect into consciousness. So if we're faced with a situation and we ask ourselves, what would consciousness do? Then we say, okay, it would, in this situation, do what was fair, right, just, loving, and kind in the circumstances that I face. What mind would do is say, what can I do to get most benefit for me, or least hassle for me, out of this situation? And if we did one thing, just one thing alone, all of us, if when we're faced with choices all day, every day, we did what we knew to be right, justify that situation and everyone involved in it, rather than what is right for us in the moment, as in our perception, the world would change. Because by taking that course, I am going to do what is right, fair, and just, you lock into consciousness, and you pull out of mind, because mind is only looking after itself, because it sees everything as apart from everything else. It's mind that wants to compete with everybody to get to the top of the greasy pole. Consciousness doesn't do that. It knows it's everything. It is the greasy pole, and it's everything that wants to get to the top of it. So what is the point of competing? You know, it just is, and it's a completely different way of perceiving the world. But if we don't become conscious, and we play in the realm only of mind, like you can talk about a closed auric field. You know, you've got the body, and then you've got the auric field, which works through the body. Well, if your auric field is open, and what do we talk about? People with open minds and closed minds. When you open your mind to all possibility, it's like Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, is supposed to have said, wisdom is knowing how little we know. That keeps your mind always open to all possibilities. Doesn't mean you believe anything, but you're open to possibility. You don't just reject something because it's different to your belief system. So when you open your auric field, by opening your mind to all possibility, you're opening to allow consciousness in. When you close your auric field, because you've got a closed mind, a rigid belief system, that closes your auric field big time fast. Because when you've got a rigid belief system, like a religion that thinks it's got all the answers, and the religion's got all the answers, then your auric field's going to close, your mind's going to close to consciousness, because it doesn't think it's got anything else to open up to, because it's got all the answers between two covers. And it's the same in all these rigid belief systems, whether they be political, economic, or whatever. They close the auric field because they close the mind. They're one and the same. People all over the world are caught in these closed auric fields, what I call the eggshell. And if you're not opening to a higher level of perception, to get a fix on who you are and where you are and all the rest of it, then with a closed auric field, you look the other way. You look out through the five senses, trying to get a fix on who you are, where you are, and what's happening in the world, and what information comes back to the five senses. That which is broadcast by the media, that's that which you get through the ludicrously named education system, and all the sources of information of the system in general. So what the kind of the process is of this conspiracy, this manipulation, is to close people's minds, close people's hearts massively, because that's our real connection to consciousness, opening the heart. And once you close the auric field, not least through fear, that does it big time fast as well, and stress and low vibrational emotion, you then have isolated the body computer and the auric field from its infinite self, and then you program through the five senses the version of perception you want them to believe, and you turn infinite consciousness by doing this into a herd of frickin' sheep. What's the key thing about a herd of sheep? One shepherd and a sheepdog or two, the sheepdog symbolizing fear and the shepherd symbolizing authority, can control vast numbers of sheep. And if those sheep refuse to bow to that, refuse to bow to fear, refuse to bow to authority, and just went off in their own direction, they would be uncontrollable from any central point. Sheep are controllable because they bow to the authority of the shepherd and the fear of the sheepdog. That is so symbolic of how the human herd, because that's what we've become, but we don't have to be, has reached this point of control, except we've out-sheeped the sheep, because at least the sheep need a sheepdog to frighten them into line. The human herd polices itself, sheepdogs itself, by jumping on anyone who tries to break out of the norm with their view, with their lifestyle. It's like they say in Japan, apparently it's a national phrase I found when I went there, don't be the nail that stands out above the rest, because that's the first one to get hit. That's how they control us and manipulators and hasslers and ridiculers and frighten us into line. And 20 years ago I decided I wasn't going to bow to that. I wasn't going to have it. And it's amazing what you can achieve when you refuse to bow to that intimidation. Because it's like sitting in a dental room, terrified of the dentist, and you've been terrified for weeks since the appointment was made, And then you go into the dentist, and he looks around and prods a bit, and then you leave, and you think, whoa, that was fine. That wasn't a problem, except for 3 months or whatever it is. You've been